Welcome to the Afternoon Yak with Badger and Tortoise. Today we're going to be talking about World of Warcraft and patch 7.35. It's shit. So, 7.35 saw changes to world scaling. That is, now all zones past level 10, starter zones essentially, now are basically available all the way up to 60. And then you have to head to either Outland or Northrend for 60 to 80.
That's right.
And I'm pretty happy with these changes because, let's face it, some of us like some zones better than others.
I know I do. I particularly like Kalimdor actually over Eastern Kingdoms.
Really?
Yeah, except for some of the human zones. I have a much easier time leveling in like the Barrens or Ashenvale used to be a favorite actually.
That is a good one. I cannot stand Elwyn Forest, so granted it's starter zone,
right?
But,
that would be included in the scaling. But Westfall,
Westfall,
you could theoretically stay in Westfall until level 60,
which is insane.
Yeah, that was 10 to 20, really more like 15 to 20 back then, and that was too much. That was too much.
I was not a fan of Westfall.
I remember going there on my Night Elf Druid in Classic and hating it because I had to get my seal form at level 16, and it was awful. But at 60, you can choose to go to either Northrend or Outland, which is huge. I like Hellfire.
I cannot stand Hellfire.
I know.
It's you get out raiding and you're this badass with some purples, and then you're going back to killing boars. But the boars are red now.
Fell boars.
They're red now. Go get them, champ.
But then you have cool stuff like the fact that you're on a different planet, and there's a Fell Reaver walking around that could one shot you at the time.
It was a whole experience, definitely.
Yeah. And then after Hellfire, it falls apart for me.
It's a noticeable improvement if you ask me. Like Nagrand is such a interesting zone.
It's a gorgeous zone, but it is terrible to level in.
Yeah, I don't actually remember doing much leveling.
It equates to kill 30 Clefto, kill 30 Birds, kill 30 Tallbuck.
Yeah.
Come back, kill 30 more of each.
That was just pre-Cataclysm, though,
Yeah.
The questing was just terribly uninspired.
So, the new alternative, go to Northrend.
Which you can definitely tell Northrend is a much more recent and fresher zone than the Burning Crusade, and it shows.
Helen Fjord is definitely the way to
go. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Borean Tundra is for me what Hellfire is for you.
Okay, that's a really good comparison. Yeah. I definitely see where you're coming from there.
And every zone there is actually fun to level in. I really like Grizzly Hills.
Grizzly Hills is a nice
Great
one.
zone. A lot of people don't like it for some reason. Because people are just objectively wrong.
And all these changes are also coming with the slowed down leveling experience. And I had said that for a while, that one-shotting the mobs just didn't feel good.
You and I both talked about this. Yeah. You have abilities that you literally never use while leveling.
You just don't rotate with. It's just not in your rotation. You one-shot everything, so you don't even necessarily learn the class. And dungeon runs were such a face roll. You didn't need healers, you didn't need tanks because you could one-shot everything. Bosses would die before you even saw any of their mechanics. Which I'm sorry to say now, dungeon running is not nearly as much of a thing because, say, it takes you 45 minutes to run a single dungeon. You're getting basically the same experience as you would from grinding mobs in the open world.
I like that because I don't like doing dungeons to level. I like questing. Maybe it's the vanilla in me, but I remember dungeons were like a icing on top of the cake kind of thing.
I remember running some of the Lich King dungeons, and I probably did 5 or 6 runs in a row, and it becomes so grating and boring. And so I'm glad that change came out. Battlegrounds are comparable to what that is now. It's a little bit better leveling experience as far as just trying to power through the levels.
Disclosure: I have not actually leveled anything in the new system. You have though.
I've leveled. I started a new warlock. Well, a warlock here recently that get them to 35. I also leveled a Tauren priest that I get to 60, and I think the slash played is about 32 hours. So you could figure about 30 minutes a level, which I also had a probably that was not sort of lock, stock, and barrel hardcore grinding. That's being alt tab. That's
Mm.
you know
That's still really fast.
it's and I was very sub efficient play style, and 30 minutes for a level is not unreasonable at all. As an average, obviously, it scales as far as it was more like 45 minutes a level towards 60 and more like 15 earlier, but I would say it's probably about 30 to 40% slower than before.
Would you take advantage of the world scale? Did you? Did you pick where you go, or did you follow the zones as they're laid out?
On my priest, I probably stayed in the Northern Barrens for about 20 levels.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Really?
completed, I think, all but one of the actual chapters in the zone for the achievement, and the only reason I stopped was because there was a group quest, and
Are they really hard now?
they're
I
not hard, but
I
they are
remember
slower.
I remember in Classic, you got a elite quest. You're done.
Yeah,
You
just
better find a buddy or four, and and then you might be able to do it. And now it's like, oh, it's a 2-man quest. I'll do it.
yeah,
Oh, I can
maybe.
heal. All right.
Yeah, some classes are obviously a lot better at, say, your hunters and warlocks can handle the elite quest a little bit better. But yeah, it's also still kind of a roadblock. Because
Mm,
here's the thing, you can't join the group finder for these elite quests if you're in the queue for, say, a dungeon or battleground.
right. Right.
And if you even find someone that's also in the general area and invite them, they won't join because they're also in the queue for the battleground or dungeon. So
Hmm.
overall, I'm pretty pleased with the changes. The leveling experience is definitely overall improved for new players and experienced players. That being said, it's also definitely slower. So if you're not enjoying that as much, it's definitely going to be a little bit more painful, especially with the changes to the heirlooms. But I would say overall, I'm pretty happy with the change.
All right. Here's a question: if you could level in any zone in the Eastern Kingdoms in Kalimdor, what would it be?
I remember really enjoying Nightfall when I was playing Vanilla slash early BC.
Nightfall,
The one just south of Elwyn Forest.
Dark Shore, Dark no,
No,
Duskwood.
Duskwood.
Jeez.
Ugh. Yeah, it's been a while.
Duskwood. Yeah, that's a great one.
But now that there's so many more Worgans in the area than
Mm-hmm.
what I was originally used to, so it was a little bit of a change.
All right. What about Kalimdor?
What is that? Basically, it's the first zone. If you're a night elf and you get to this dark shore,
Dark Shore.
that
That's
was
Dark.
one comfy zone. Let me tell you.
I love that in Classic.
You learn fishing. You fish off that dock. Comfy AF.
All right. You hit 60. Northrend or Outland.
I would have to go to Northrend because I tried taking my druid towards Outland and ugh,
You wanted a KYS, I think.
Hellfire Ramparts, and I can't. I can't.
Okay, and then you hit 80, and you open up Pandaria and Draenor. Which one do you go to? You never did any Draenor.
I've not done any Draenor, so I would probably go Mist of Pandaria because it just has so much of a better reputation than.
A better feel. I
Yeah.
really liked leveling in this.
Aesthetically, it looks so much better
Oh, it's
than.
amazing.
Which I also, of course, have very limited experience. Same question to you.
Definitely Dark Shore. God, Duskwood.
Duskwood,
This is
yeah.
just awful. Duskwood for that for the Eastern Kingdoms. Kalimdor, I really liked Um, I'm blanking on the name. It's south of Ashenvale, but it's not the Barrens.
It's not desolate, is it?
No, it's right above Desolate. It's Stone Mountains. I
Mm-hmm.
really like that zone after Cataclysm. And Barrens just looks great.
And another great change about it is because the level scaling, you're not traveling nearly as much between the zones, which was a huge time sink
It's
before
true.
if you didn't have the flight paths, which you
Right.
wouldn't on a new character
Right.
unless you bought the map. That's 10 grand, which is nothing really because the economy's busted.
So, speaking of making new characters, segue into my favorite feature of the patch, the allied races.
I think most people's more anticipated feature, the allied races.
Definitely.
And I know I have my personal favorite, the High Mountain Tauren.
They're great. They're certainly better than others. Some are better than others.
I think there's 3 that are better than some of the others, the now released ones.
Yeah. So let's take it away with High Mountain. What are your thoughts?
So lore-wise, it's a little bit disappointing that the Alliance, I played my rogue, he's Alliance, to help and go through the entire High Mountain quest and be like, yeah, but I'm Horde now, so tough break. And at the base level, it's an entirely cosmetic change, but ooh, that's a good one.
They look really good.
The antlers really do it for me. The moose travel form on the druid,
the eagle flight form on druid. Oh,
it's they're a very well done subclass, basically.
I don't remember what their racials are, but they weren't anything to write home about.
No, it's they had it was a mining proficiency
and
one,
then
a charge.
A charge, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I want to say reduced damage. It's in capacity, but I might be misremembering. I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
Yeah, nothing crazy like the Void Elves.
Let's talk about some Void Elves.
Let's talk about the Void Elves racials. How dramatically better they are.
You say OP. Let me pull them up real fast. I know they have a blink, right?
I want to say they have a transmog discount, a blink, a straight magic damage.
Okay, transmog discount. That is so silly to me.
Well, hey.
Why is that a thing?
Why is transmog a thing at all? I'm not a big fan of transmog.
It looks cool. I like to look cool. Sure. And if you don't have matching armor, you look like a clown.
Clown syndrome is a hell of a thing. I'll give you that. It makes the leveling experience all the more jarring.
Okay, here we go. Spatial Rift. Terra Rift in space. Reactivating the ability teleports you 30 yards and has a 3-minute cooldown.
So basically a mage blink?
It's a blink. That's incredible. Let's see. And then they have passives. Chill of Night. Reduces shadow damage taken by 1%. And anything that reduces your damage taken by 1% in the current game seems...
It's negligible.
It's a waste. I mean, you're in the current raid and cool, you died last. It's not going to save you.
If you're on a tank class, it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Alright, Entropic Embrace. Abilities have a chance to empower you with the essence of the void. Increases damage and healing by 5% for 12 seconds. It has a 33% chance to proc. Not bad. 5% more damage and healing is decent if it procs reliably.
Okay, so I was definitely thinking of the Nightborn when I was talking about the transmog and magic damage buff then.
Oh, no, you're not. You're not wrong. That's next.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, going down the list here. What do you think about that? 5% damage and healing?
5% damage and healing?
Yeah, it's a chance to proc.
Oh.
If it procs, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to how often is it proccing.
Right. 33% chance within 60 seconds.
A 1 in 3 chance, or once every 3 minutes, basically.
Right, yeah.
5% boost.
It's minor.
Nothing to write home about, but I mean, if you're in Mythic rating,
yeah, you need every chance you can get, every advantage. All right, next up we have Ethereal Connection. Reduces the cost of void storage and transmogrification by 50%. Okay, first off, I've never even activated void storage. Do you even know what that is?
That is if for some reason your bank was full, is
right.
my understanding.
And my bank was only full ever because it was full of transmog gear. Huh. And now that we have the transmog storage system, it's completely empty. I haven't been to my bank since they changed that, actually.
Yeah, the banking system at this point is irrelevant to me to some extent.
Right. I'm sure it's got value to some people. So void storage, great. I have a discount on something I will literally never use. Literally haven't used. Transmogrification, I changed that up quite a bit.
And that can end up being a pretty nice chunk of gold.
It cost me 350 gold to change the weapons on my Demon Hunter class.
So that's 150 gold every, well, obviously not with the Legion artifacts, but...
Right. Well, they will be transmogable in the next expansion.
Sure.
Which is exciting. Because some of them look really great.
But you weren't getting new weapon drops every raid, though, so...
Right.
You weren't saving that much.
This one, the next one, and last one, I feel like might be a little overpowered in a leveling sense. Preternatural Calm. Your spell casts are not delayed by taking damage.
That is nice.
That is huge.
And that's good in a PvP setting, too.
I didn't think about PvP. That is huge.
Some pretty reasonable racials.
And their mount. I mean, it's a void chicken.
It's definitely...
It's got sweet armor, and it's like glow in the dark blue.
It's kind of kick-ass purple. It is. I mean, it is nice.
We're looking at it right now.
I would say, obviously, the best mount that comes with the new races.
And we forgot to mention the High Mountain mount is
the moose.
It's a moose. That's right.
Or a reindeer.
Moose.
It's pretty good too.
So it's a moose, and they are moose, and they can turn into a moose.
Which is a bit redundant. So you're a moose.
You're riding your distant ancestor.
Hey, I'm not one to judge a druid.
So the Void Elves can be hunters, mages, monks, priests, rogue, warlock, and warrior.
No paladin. How do you feel about that?
In a lore sense, I'm happy. That'd be a letdown. But from gameplay, they would look really cool. I feel like a warlock would look really, really good. And mage seems like the go-to playstyle for that. Especially with the spellcast delay. What would you play if you made one?
A Void Elf? Mm-hmm. I would probably go mage. No, that doesn't have the... I guess you could go anything.
Well, yeah. I'm just thinking aesthetically in terms of look.
Aesthetically? They definitely sort of...
They have a cool warrior vibe, too.
I don't know. I don't think there's... They definitely seem more like a spellcaster, sort of. They're not a very warrior-esque race, right. So anything to shy away from the melee, I would say would be a good option.
Back, since we kind of glossed over the High Mountain, what would you make? Definitely warrior for me.
Druid all the way. Druid is the only correct answer.
I'm saving Druid for the future Zandalari.
Those colors.
Who doesn't want a pterodactyl flight form and a raptor DPS form?
And they are finally going to be straight back trolls.
Oh, yes. Okay, pause on the other races. Let's talk about this for a moment.
Let's talk about it.
I have wanted a straight back orc since playing WoW.
The part that blows my mind, the orc females and the troll females are already straight back.
Already straight back. And
why?
And they look great for it. Why do the trolls have such a severe hunch? And the orcs, why?
I understand it a little bit better with the trolls.
They're lanky and tall.
They're lanky, they're gangly.
I
The
get
orcs,
it.
they're just hunchback.
Right. They
They're
are
just
the hunchback of Orgrimmar.
And it's not a good look.
It is not good.
You're
And then
not-
you see cool characters like Thrall and Garrosh and Sarfang that stand up, upright, shoulders back, and they look awesome.
They have that commanding presence.
Yeah. The minute I can do that, I am rerolling my warrior.
Otherwise, you look like one of the peons.
You look like a peon. I played Warcraft 3. I loved Warcraft 3. The Orc Warriors, grunts, were straight back. Or just couldn't tell. They stood straight up and were badasses. They didn't want to play an Orc in WoW. Not anymore.
Can't help you.
But it's coming. It's coming. And they actually let loose, I guess, a spoiler on their part, potentially. But the Draenor Orcs should be a playable allied race soon. So, on from there.
So, very comparable to the Void Elves we have. The Nightborn.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think these are a little bit overpowered as far as their racials. You want to give us a rundown of those? Another thing is they're very similar races. They're both basically elves, and they're both shadowy elves, which is kind of ironic because we already have a night elf.
They are very much the same skeleton, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the Blood Elf skeleton. Which I don't mind.
I would like to see a different model, because otherwise, you see, that's one of the reasons they came out so quickly, I guess you could say, is they're kind of low effort as far as the overall.
Nightborn, I get because they were already in the game story-wise. They were in Legion all the way through. And that's when all the new models came out last expansion, so they already had that look, essentially. But here we go. So their abilities. They have two activated racials. Cantrips? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Conjure up an Eldritch Grimoire, allowing you mail access for 1 minute.
Which I like. It's
Check your mail anywhere. That's good.
Which it doesn't come up a lot, and it's a small thing. I want to say engineers have a pretty similar thing available to them.
They do. There's been times I've wanted to check my mail out in the world and can't though.
Overall small but nice, which I think is what a racial should be.
Agreed. Then they have Arcane Pulse. It deals 200% of your attack power and arcane damage to nearby enemies every 2 seconds and snares them by 50% for 20 seconds.
That is something, alright.
That's something. 200% attack power every 2 seconds for 20 seconds. And a 10-second snare. That's a 50% snare.
Seems like a good PvP option, a good AoE option. Mm-hmm. Overall, a strong active.
I like that one a lot.
Period.
And then their racial passives. Ancient History. Their inscription skill is increased by 15.
Which is irrelevant to some degree.
Possibly decent with the change coming, right?
The supposed change we've heard about is the stat squish for professions. It's being condensed down to 100 being the cap.
Current 800.
I'm not sure how they're going to do this. I'm looking forward to finding out more. I'm a little bit worried about it, and I'm definitely not leveling up any professions at the moment.
Yeah. So if that's true, and you want to have inscription, that would be a significant jump. Unless they nerf that.
In Battle of Azeroth, I don't know if this is confirmed yet or not, but the inscription profession will allow you to make basically rep tokens.
Is that right?
You will make the rep tokens and then consume them, and they give you reputation.
Oh, wow. That would be huge.
I think inscription is going to be very nice in Battle of Azeroth.
I might be having a scribe on my account, which I currently do not. Alright, next they have Magical Affinity. Increases magic damage by 1%.
Insane.
Is it?
It's going to be required for any mythic raiding guild magic user.
You think so?
Where's your Nightborn? Where's your Nightborn?
1%? You think that would
1%.
make 1% of difference?
I do, and here's why. And check my math behind this.
Okay.
1% would be 1% applied. Anyway,
What? That
yeah.
doesn't sound right.
No, you check my math.
I'll have to consult with my professor.
I don't know. It's easy to get caught up in that 1% when you're doing, crits for 10 million.
Right.
And,
that's true.
And you think about 1% of 10 million. Oh boy, that's tons of damage.
That's true.
But relatively speaking, it's
throughout a long fight that would add up. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, 1%, I think it's going to be very popular and very strong on certain classes.
I can see. And then finally, arcane resistance reduces magical damage taken by 1%.
And this is again
a minor PvP trait, I would say.
Exactly, probably the most applicable use PvP. Almost irrelevant unless you're a tanking class.
Mm-hmm. And while we're at it, just since we didn't go over the High Mountain again, let's go over their ratios.
They get more meat and
Bull Rush.
Bull Rush.
Charges forward for 1 second, knocking enemies down for 1.5 seconds. It's got a 2-minute cooldown.
This is great. I feel like the High Mountain is really balanced for whatever race or whatever class you want to play. You want to go Warrior? You want to go Druid?
I like that because it makes me think of that Battle for Azeroth cinematic. That Tauren rushes through that barricade. It's just like you just charging forward.
Very good thematically.
Yeah.
Ironically, though, he was not a High Mountain.
He was not. I want my Tauren to have that. So their passives: Pride of Ironhorn, mining skill increased by 15, and allows you to mine faster.
Now, the increased speed is something I'd be far more interested in than the 15 points.
That's actually pretty cool.
Because over an expansion, as the mining is a profession, you're going to spend a lot of time harvesting nodes. If it's even half a second faster, you're saving minutes of course your life.
Well, whole minutes.
Whole minutes.
Not a half a minute. Please understand. Whole minutes.
When you hit that /played, that's going to add up.
Alright, Mountaineer increases versatility by 1%. That's interesting.
I think it's good.
Versatility, increases damage you do and reduces damage you take.
Yes.
So it's a very versatile stat.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Obviously some classes benefit more from versatility than others. It all comes down to your spec.
Alright, then we have Rugged Tenacity. Reduces damage taken by 330. If that's the number at level 110, that's meaningless. That can't be the number at level 1.
It's definitely not.
Because you don't even have that much health.
Yeah, it's definitely the max level.
What is the purpose of that?
It's a flat 300 or so, you said?
330.
That's insignificant. It's not even 1%.
It's not even 1% of 1% of the damage we did.
It's negligible in every sense of the word.
So I hope that number's not accurate. If that is, it needs to be reworked. Or we're just misunderstanding it.
Or in Battle of Azeroth, that's going to be pretty strong.
Again, with the number squish, who knows? Yeah.
The number squish should be nice, but we'll have to see how it actually pans out.
Alright, finally, Waste Not, Want Not.
Yes.
You have a chance to loot additional meat and fish.
Cool, I guess.
If you're a cook, yeah, kind of neat, I guess. If you're not, it might be really annoying. Because I already get enough meat off of animals when I'm skinning. When you're just killing to skin. If I'm getting extra.
Woo! Yeah, I just vendor it now anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be worth more on the auction house, but it's just not worth the extra trouble.
It's just not.
It's just not.
Okay. So.
Let's address the elephant in the room. By far and away.
Or the squid-faced freaks in the room, yes.
The most underwhelming of the new allied races, we have
Lightforged Draenei. Gag. I love me some Draenei, but this is cosmetic at best, and I'm being generous.
You get some tattoos that you would never see, essentially.
ever. And you get some fancy form choices. You made the hilarious, and I didn't realize how appropriate it was, comparison to Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters, Night Elves and Blood Elves, you literally get tattoos and horns, and they're not calling that a new race. That fits this criteria. Why are Demon Hunters not an allied race?
They might as well be. They might as well be in the same category as the Pandaren.
I just don't get it. You have a lighter skin tone, pretty much across the board. Tattoos, which look great. They look cool when you see them. And
that
horn,
That
one time when you're making your character.
Unless you're doing some ERP, then you would probably see it a lot
You're
more.
in Goldshire. Oh boy.
What is the popular ERP server? Moonguard?
Moonguard, that's right.
Can't help you.
Yeah, they might be really popular there. So, very disappointing. They should just be options for your current Draenei. Just make your current Draenei Lightforged in the story, and then give you options. Every Draenei made from now on is Lightforged.
That would be an interesting option to actually opt into the Lightforged. But I guess
that's what most of these boil down. At least the first two boil down to. They could be introduced as a sub-category of that race when you're creating them. Just have the option. I'm making a Draenei. Here's your normal Draenei. Here's your Lightforged. I'm making a Tauren. Here's your normal. Here's your High Mountain.
Which is disappointing that there's such a huge element of integrating them and assimilating them into the faction.
Right. When they are already in the faction in a racial sense.
Entirely?
Yeah. At least the Nightborn are a different type of elf, and the Void Elf are Blood Elves for the Alliance.
It's much easier to sort of, we're having to bring them into the fold.
Right.
As opposed to, are you sure you're not already part of it?
Right.
Because you're kind of already with us.
And why would the Lightforged join the Alliance? The only reason is Velen and the Draenei are part of it. Because they don't know even what a human is until we meet them. Except for Terralion. They know.
They went into it kind of blind.
They're like,
blind and cold.
We're on Argus. We're fighting some demons. Oh, these cats called the Alliance and Horde are here to help. Oh, these guys look weird. There's some bullmen. There's these little pink people named humans. There's these tall elves.
Velen had to vouch for the humans, I guess.
I guess so. It's like, oh man, we need to join them now that we beat the Legion. Where do we go? They all seem pretty cool. Well, our people are over here. They hate the other side, so screw them. We hate them too.
Which is kind of what the High
Mountain
did.
We hate the Horde now.
It's entirely what the High Mountain did.
The High Mountain. Oh, the Alliance was really helpful, but, my boys over there.
Family's family, though. I mean,
you get it, fam. We hate the Alliance now.
I mean, you did everything in the world for us, but
you literally saved our people.
Blood's thicker than water, Oh, you thought we had something? No, never.
No, that was only out of necessity. So their racials. Light's Judgment calls out a strike of holy energy, dealing holy damage to enemies within 5 yards after 3 seconds. So it's like a delayed AoE. It's a 40-yard range, so.
Pretty good range, pretty standard range, actually.
And I want to say it's like the function on Argus where you can pick where it goes. If you have a reticle.
Okay.
So that's interesting, I guess.
It's decent.
It would depend on the damage. And like any racial, it's not going to be very high. No. Racials never do good damage.
They're typically at high cooldowns.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 minute.
Yeah, so it's not part of your rotation.
Right.
Which is all it comes down to some degree.
This is interesting. Forge of Light. Summon a Forge of Light, enabling blacksmithing. And their blacksmithing skills increase by 10. So you could make armor out in the field. It's not bad. There's already an item that does that for engineers.
Yeah. It's just underwhelming.
Yeah. It's a neat RP idea.
which I guess is what it has to come down to.
Right. I think
Because
most of these are
when would you ever actually make an upgrade right there in the field? It maybe happens once, maybe twice in expansion.
right. The only time I would ever find that useful is if I'm in a place and there's no blacksmithing hammer, like High Mountain.
Sure.
Like, where is this thing? Oh, let me just calm it down. Oh wait, no, I'm a Draenei, and these people hate me now. Then their passives: Demon Bane, experience gained from killing beasts, increased by 20%.
Demons.
It says beast. That must be a
That's
typo.
gotta be a
It is.
typo.
It's supposed to be demon.
It's definitely demons.
Yeah.
The potential one redeeming factor of the Light Forged.
20% increase. But how many demons are you fighting throughout your level career?
Good point. But at the same time, 20% bonus XP on top of, say, an
There are-
heirloom set.
Right. There are certain areas where there are high quantities of demons, but they're definitely few and far between. But with the scaling, I guess you could go anywhere.
I'm, of course, thinking of the Broken Isles, and there's no shortage of demons there.
It would be fantastic for level.
I want to say Hellfire also has, those are demons there too.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's very much specific zones you would want to focus as a Light Forge, which is a nice idea. It's a nice feature.
That is kind of exciting thinking about, like, where do I go next to capitalize on that bonus.
Definitely a nice racial.
Light's Reckoning. When you die, the light avenges you, dealing holy damage to enemies within 8 yards and healing allies. It's a screw-you explosion.
It's a nice idea. If you're using this, you're not doing well, though.
Yeah, if this is proccing a lot, you're doing it wrong.
It's a best of a bad situation idea. I'm looking forward to the montage of raid bosses being downed by this ability.
Oh, man.
That is those. I don't use this word lightly. Epic moments where your paladin Draenei is one of the last people alive in the raid, goes down, saves the fight, downs the boss. You throw it on YouTube, you go viral. Talk about how much you love the Light Forge. It could be a very sweet thing. Overall, I would say extremely underwhelming.
Yeah.
But when you're right though.
Oh man. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And then finally, Holy Resistance reduces holy damage taken by 1%. When is that ever?
That has to be probably the rarest damage type you're experiencing.
I was just thinking, when are you ever attacked with holy damage? And I can't think of anything.
Maybe in, say, like the Western Plague Lands when you're attacking, say, like the Scarlet Monetary, stuff like that.
Yeah. Or PvP priests.
Yeah.
But
as the
that's
Alliance,
gonna be shadow damage more often.
Definitely not coming up a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, fine, because none of the other racials are.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
It definitely seems like a common theme with the racials, that sort of.
And their mount is a light forged elk. An elephant, basically.
You get a picture?
No, I don't.
It doesn't sound good.
You can already get those from the whatever the rep is in Argus.
Yeah, the Agassi Reach?
No, Argesi Reach, they have space goats.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name.
I'm not crazy about the Draenei. I remember when Burning Crusade came out, they were the new race.
Oh, I loved them back then. The idea was awesome.
The Russian accent.
Well, my paladin is 110 and he's a Draenei. And I think he looks badass. But there's something with their legs. I can't look at their little chicken legs.
They have light bulb syndrome.
Yes.
The males have such massive upper bodies.
They skip leg day on the reg.
It's never leg day.
And then the two we have not gotten yet, and will come in the expansion proper. Dark Iron Dwarves. What do you think?
I think they are directly inferior to the Zandalari Trolls.
Yes.
That being said, I feel like what I've heard potentially as the dwarfs racials are pretty nice.
I only have names here and not what they do. But we have Dungeon Delver, Fireblood, Forged in Flames, mass production, and mole machine. And mole machine makes me think of the item that teleports you places.
And I remember reading something that's only going to be usable outdoors. So it may be some sort of blink or fast travel option.
I'm thinking fast travel.
Which would be pretty nice.
Yeah. And look-wise, they look interesting, but again, it's like the Light Forged and the High Mountain. Just make it a customization option for dwarves.
Sure.
Why is it a different race?
And that's the sad part. It's just a reskin. At least you get some sweet antlers with the High Mountain.
And then probably the coolest out of all of them, the Zandalari trolls.
Definitely one of the stronger ones, mainly because of the druid forms.
Oh my god. The druid forms are so good.
When will the druid forms stop winning? The answer? I can't imagine ever.
I hope never. I hope never. They look really great in Legion with the artifact.
Ooh, those artifacts.
Ooh, man, that werebear form is hot.
Not a bad one. Not a bad one in the bunch.
Not a single bad one. So a raptor DPS form. Feral form, I guess. I keep wanting to call it cat form, but
that's what it is. That's what it's been for the past how many years? Exactly.
12, 13.
It's cat. It's the cat form, but it happens to look a lot like a raptor.
Yeah, it's a cat raptor. The pterodactyl form for flight. Oh my god. It looks so good.
Beats the hell out of the eagle form of the
that eagle form for High Mountain is hot.
Entirely different than the current night elf.
Yeah, you have like a hawk-ish, I guess.
It's more of a hawk.
And then the High Mountain have a very definite eagle form. And then this stomps that into the ground. It's like, I raise your eagle, one dinosaur.
You just fold. You can't go again. You can't go against someone like that.
And then their racial names, at least, are City of Gold. Sounds kind of cool. Embrace the Loa, Pterodax Swoop, Regeneration. It's got to be a typo. It says regenerating.
No, you read
or right. Regeneratin, and then Ward of the Loa. And then their mount is actually Direhorn, I believe. Like a Triceratops.
Sure. And there's a lot of speculation on what these racials mean at the moment. For example, City of Gold, maybe you loot extra gold while in dungeons.
The one I'm showing you is the Light Forge.
Oh, yeah, not crazy about it.
Yeah.
The Light Forged
and then
elephant.
we glossed over the Nightborn mount is a Mana Saber.
Which is...
It's actually pretty cool.
The armor is nice. I love the purple aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Very much reminds me of the Demon Hunter.
Kinda, yeah. There's definitely a Mana Saber you can get in the game too, in fact.
That's right.
One's in the cash shop. The other you get at the end of the Insurrection campaign. And looks really cool.
Yeah, let's talk about the rep grinds for some of these races.
Yes.
A bit steep.
Yeah, a bit steep.
Which Blizzard has come out saying these races are only for people that play the game. And I don't have anything to say to that.
I don't either. It surprises me. Because they're normally pretty lenient with people.
They very much have a soft touch towards the casual play style.
Which is fine. That's their thing. I can respect it. But I kind of like this.
It's nice.
It's like,
I like it.
You know you're really a player if you have these.
And building off that, heritage armor.
Oh, man.
Leveling a character from level 20 to 110, I believe, without a boost, rewards you for a set of heritage armor.
Yep, as long as you level the right way. You can use heirlooms and all that. But if you level on your own without the boost, you get heritage armor. Which can be worn no matter your character. Even though it can look like cloth, it would still be plate. Which I know you have a problem with.
I have some problems with that, but that's really remnants of vanilla, where plate can look like cloth.
Right. I think it looks awesome. The Void Elf and Nightborn armor looks amazing.
The Void, yeah, easily the best. I'm not crazy about the High Mountain. I may end up using...
I don't mind it. The Light Forge is actually really cool. They lucked out in the heritage armor section.
It's another good one, definitely.
That's the only thing they got going for it. What were we talking about before Heritage Armor? Oh, the rep grind.
Rep grind.
So the High Mountain, if you're playing the game from the beginning of Legion, and you really want something from them Exalted, it's not too much of a stretch. I got Exalted with the Valor Jar because I wanted something on my warrior. You had to get it for a weapon skin. So if there was something you needed, it's doable. Getting Revered just while playing is actually pretty basic. I'm over halfway through Revered just from playing. And now I'm actually going to start trying now.
So I definitely picked High Mountain as my first zone. Probably my favorite Broken Isle zone, bar none. And I want to say completing all the quest and storyline and doing some dailies. I was not even Revered.
Really?
Yeah. It's only after I really started doing the Order Hall missions and practicing the dailies, and I'm still about 3,000 rep away from Exalted.
Yeah, I'm 14,000 in.
That's rough.
Yeah. And I've been playing that character from very early on. So it's not terrible. You can reach it.
But it's definitely a reward for people that actually play the game.
Right. Same idea with the Nightborn. That's probably the easiest to get, I think, if you've been playing early. Because you had the incentive of playing the Suramar campaign while waiting for the raids, etc. to come out. Most people hit Exalted while doing that storyline. The only thing is you have to finish the story that came in 7.1. Not that much of a stretch. I did it. I took a break at that time. And I got back into it and have completed it up to the last step within 2 days. It's very easy. So I feel like most people are going to have access to the Nightborn.
And we also have a new legendary purchase system in 3.5.
Yes.
And I have to say, I'm not sure I entirely understand it. I understand that you get your awakening essences and then you buy your legendary. Why, though? I understand that there was bad luck protection already in the game, and basically if you played, every 2 weeks you would get a legendary.
If you played to a certain amount, you would hit that.
To a point, certainly.
Right. It depends on how fast you can get that 1,000 essence.
Which I think if you do everything in a week, you can get very close to it.
Okay.
But if you do most things in 2 weeks, you can get it.
Okay, so let's say you play that 2 weeks to get it, but you only do what you can to get the essence.
Yeah, you would definitely hit the 1,000 mark, turn it in, and then you would get a random legendary.
Which is what you would get by one drop.
Naturally, which is a little disappointing because is that not already the system that's in place?
I would like it a lot more if you could pick which slot you're getting.
Absolutely. I feel like that. I thought that was the whole point of the system when I first read about it.
I did too.
And to find out that it's just a random drop, it seems like an entirely redundant system.
Here's the thing. It would be fantastic if it also, and I don't know if it does this or not, but if it did not change your protection. If you getting that legendary resets your
bad luck
protection, thank you. If it resets that, then that's terrible.
It almost discourages you from using the system.
Right.
Because you want to double dip, basically.
Right. If it didn't, though, that would be huge. You'd be getting twice the rate of legendaries, essentially.
Which is hard to imagine, but at the same time, you're never going to be using more than 2 at a single time. So unless you're just collecting them.
Right, but some people don't have the ones that are best for their spec. I know my mage has very specific ones that would be good, and I don't have any of them.
Which I would say is actually one of the overall flaws with Legion. The legendary system probably left a bad taste in some people's mouth because there was very much asymmetrical balance in some of
Yeah,
these legendaries.
very unpopular with the Mythic Raiders
You
out there.
basically had your slot item or you were bottom of the DPS to some degree.
Yeah. So speaking of legendaries, I do like that they do drop. I like having that orange drop. And I get why you can only wear two, but I wish it was more. I just don't like that they're so specific and so valuable in what they do.
It would be nice to have a full set of oranges.
Right?
That would be very nice.
That would look so good.
Item level 1000. Let's go, boy. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
The mythic raids would almost be trivial at that point.
Well, if you had a whole set of legendaries, you'd have to tone them down so much.
Yeah.
But it would, see, they missed the opportunity. In the story setting, we're facing the Legion. This is the big bads. That would have been the time to have legendary. Like all legendary.
Full set.
Unless like the Void is supposed to be the big bad now.
Which obviously that moving goalpost, that's definitely
right. And you have to have that. You run out of content eventually. I get it. But that won't come around for a while, I'm sure. Then you have another chance to have full legendary weapon. Forget artifact. I want something that's like I don't even know what. Orange, yellow, who cares? I want black.
Ooh, I feel like that's sort of where the system's going now, because remember Vanilla BC? You were somebody. People knew your name if you had an orange.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You had everybody on a server instead of across servers back like they are now.
And I feel like the new system, it's good and bad features. It reminds me very much of when they started giving out welfare epics. Back in the day, blues were a good thing. Then you had to raid to get purples.
That's right. If you could spend your whole time at level 60 and be lucky if you had a purple without raiding. If you just did dungeons, you had a full set of blue gear, and that was okay.
That was your entry to
raiding. And then raiding, you knew you were a raider because you had all those fat perks.
And then the Burning Crusade came out, along with welfare epics.
You know what? I didn't mind it at that point because they came from heroics. You get one legendary, if I remember correctly, it's been a while. You get one legendary, epic, geez. One epic at the end of the dungeon. And heroics were hard as shit back then.
And PvP.
And were there PvP?
That's how I got a lot of my
No wonder you say welfare. Just fight some people.
Because it was a grind. It wasn't the skill set involved. Raiding.
See, I remember doing heroics. Like Blood Furnace heroic was so hard, and then you get this nice epic at the end, and it wasn't like raid quality, but it was a good way to get raid geared.
Just having a purple back then felt good.
I remember going into Karazhan the first time, taking it, and I was in all blues except for maybe one purple, and it was like, this is scary, but I'm ready. I'm ready.
It was a different time. It was so new, everything.
It was
a whole different, in some ways, a whole different game.
Very much so, yeah. So, I think that's the biggest features of this patch. You think so?
It pretty much covers it. I would, like you said, I would love to see a new tier past Legendary. Like, they could call it a Void item.
That could be something, even with that name, gosh. Because they actually had a system back then. They had legendaries and then artifacts. That color was a thing in Classic. There were just no actual items in the game of that color. Like GM, right. Right.
So it's confirmed live on stream for Battle of Azeroth. Void items, black tier above legendary.
You heard it here first, folks. It's true. A few minor things. They did release World of War Time Walking.
Many consider the best raid in the game.
Yes, I would even say so. It's definitely up there. Although I have fond memories of Kara for the first time.
Karazhan is also my...
Love that.
If I were to think about a raid, I would think about the Butler in Karazhan, the Horseman,
the dragons at the end. Good
Oh
times.
yeah,
Good
was it
times.
Ebonheart? It doesn't matter.
And Malcazar.
And the play. I don't know why we had so
Oh,
much trouble with the play, and by
Curdog.
we I mean a
Curdog.
specific racer. God rest his soul.
That's the story for another time, folks. So that's the second time walking raid we've had. The Black Temple was the first one.
I remember running with you with that at the time.
Yeah, that was a pretty successful time walking raid, I think. And I do like that they're doing more. It just seems like Ice Crown would have been the one to go to.
I would have thought so,
Yeah.
but here we are.
Old War is a great one. I do hope they do Ice Crown eventually. Lich King is my favorite character lore-wise. Or
I thought it
lore
was
villain.
Chad Furion.
I do like me some Chad Furion.
Maybe you normies know him as Malfurion.
There's also the new battleground that's not activated yet as of recording, which is the Seething Shore.
King of the Hill style, I look forward to.
10v10, King of the Hill. Seems, my initial look, it seems vaguely Arathi Basin-ish, with the different popping up like bases.
Yeah, it's obviously too early to say.
Yeah, that might just be my chimp brain.
Arathi Basin, problems aside, let's hope it's not that similar.
Right. And then we've got the story in Silithus after the sword came down, which will destabilize our artifact weapons going forward.
Yeah, we're having to turn the artifact weapons in.
Well, they become
corrupted.
Is it corrupt? I forget what language they use, but unstable.
Plot device.
That was it.
Give
it
up.
Right. Yeah. Your MacGuffin's going on.
Let's talk about some of these artifacts we're basically vendoring.
Don't say that. Jeez.
That's what's happening.
Sad.
You're considered the druid, a branch of the tree of life.
The world tree.
The world tree.
You have a branch of legendary. Throw in the trash. It's
vendor it.
Ashbringer. Hold on. I just mentioned the Lich King. The sword that broke Frostmourne, which in itself is an artifact, legendary weapon in lore.
Chuck it.
Broke it. And you're the owner, the guy that took the Lich King down. He's dead. He took his sword. You're the biggest badass paladin out there. And sell it for some gold. That goblin vendor, he'll take it.
Chuck it into the pile. But we gotta stabilize the sword.
Doomhammer, Thrall's weapon. Holy God. Oh my God.
Artifacts in every sense of the word. For some of these others, examples, the rogue weapons.
They're garbage. Garbage.
You would vendor these. Literally who? Like, hold on to that branch. I'll just toss in my extra set of daggers. Come on, that's the world tree. I don't even know these guys until someone told me about it, and I went and got these weapons. Story-wise, these are nobodies.
Yeah, they have some cool looks, I guess.
Oh, there's some nice daggers, but
the Doomhammer, and apparently Thrall's going to be a main character in Battle for us.
Really?
Give him the Doomhammer back.
Nope, chuck it.
If he doesn't have that back, I'm going to be so sad. That's his signature weapon. So's Ashbringer. But that's okay. Tyrion's dead. I kind of get it. I can forgive that. Doomhammer. I don't even like the fact that shamans could wield it.
It doesn't feel right aesthetically.
It doesn't feel right, yeah. And then, because you're dual wielding it, and it becomes like a lava version, is your second weapon. I didn't like that to begin with. Make it a two-handed hammer. Like something really chunky.
Yeah.
But give it back to Thrall, Blizzard.
I guess shamans aren't two-handers, so...
They used to be. That's when they were lethal in Classic. Two-handed. Wind Fury proc, you could have one-shot people.
Yeah, I remember when my rogue could use stabs, too. Stabs? Staves?
What else? The mage weapons they're okay. They all belong to some archmage, you know.
Somebody, you know.
Yeah, some person. So paladins have a big one. Shaman have a big one. Warriors are literally who.
Yeah.
They look cool, but other than
I remember when people were talking, it would be the weekly Silithus quest. No,
yeah, there was a rumor that Silithus, to wrap up the story, would have weekly quest. That's not a thing.
That's
But that is if once you defeat Antorus, the raid, the story will continue and tie in better with Battle for Azeroth. So that is exciting. Oh, that's another artifact weapon. Death Knight. The Frost Death Knight is literally made from Frostmourne.
yeah.
God. No, we're just throwing him away. Ah, this makes me mad. And sad.
It's a problem story wise, but
I like that we use and purify the corruption coming out of Sargeras' sword.
which I understand it's this
Which
huge,
is cool, because Sargeras is like
momentous-
Satan of WoW.
Yeah,
He's like the big horn, fire beard, angry man.
and planets are alive. Who thought?
He's as big as a planet. He just pulls out his sword out of the air. And it's so big, it is ignited in the atmosphere.
Are you enough of a badass to stab a planet?
I remember telling our friend Matt about that. I was like, Sargeras shows up and he literally stabs the planet. He's like, what does that mean? I was like,
What does that
literally.
mean?
And he said, like he knew.
He's not played in a while.
He is not.
He lost his damn mind.
Story for another time. But I think this wraps it up. You got anything else?
I think that just about covers it. There's lots of other little minor details. The selfie camera, woohoo.
Yeah.
Some good changes to the Mythic Raid. Basically, people were cheesing and ignoring mechanics, and then battle resin.
Mm-hmm.
It changed it to more like a raid scenario.
There's also a few class changes that came in it, but those are in the patch notes if anyone's interested.
Nothing especially interesting. Some buffs, some nerfs.
Yeah.
Nothing
Pretty
to write
standard
home
stuff.
about.
So I think that'll be it for us.
That just about covers it. Thanks for tuning in to the Afternoon Yak with Badger and Tortoise.
If you like it, please like and subscribe.
Until next time.